And we're back.
Hi, Susie.
Hey, Tiffany.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great.
Good.
I'm so excited to be back podcasting with you.
I know.
Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am Susie Torres. I am a licensed realtor / broker of over 20 years. I'm with Carolina One Real Estate and next in Cane Bay in Somerville, but work all over the Charleston area. And Tiffany will tell you about herself, but I use her regularly. We work together as a team. She does all of the photography and floor plans and digital marketing for the listings. So it's pretty important to be hand in hand. And we see a lot of things firsthand that a lot of others do not. So
we sure do.
We are trying to come together to provide that value and insight to those that are wondering. And
yeah, like she said, I'm Tiffany Foley. I own Palmetto Real Estate Photography here in the Charleston area. I've got about 10 years experience, so I think of myself as a bit of an expert. We work hand in hand, and we've decided to do this podcast to kind of give you more information, just a little bit of background and things going on in real estate, things going on in Somerville, Charleston.
Businesses, all the things.
So today we decided that this would be a great time to talk about how there is not a bad time to list your home. It's always a good time.
Yeah. So Charleston's a little different. You know, I grew up from up north. So in Ohio, it was almost just a stigma, right? That you wouldn't list your house from like November to March because first of all, the holiday season, the snow, all of the things. It would slow down.
Yeah, of course.
Charleston is consistent year round.
It's very consistent.
Yes. And, I would say really with 20 years of doing it, like the biggest, and I feel like almost only slowdown is like right before school starts. You know, it'll be like a week or two before school starts. It picks up again after Labor Day. You just have
Which
a couple
is so
week
funny
window.
because there's really no rhyme or reason to that.
I think it's just, to me, it's a combination of everybody like fitting in family vacations, getting ready for school, like not having the time. The families that wanted to move have already settled in that time.
Yeah.
And so
it does
I think
slow
it's just,
down a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like you said, like
it's just a couple weeks though. And then it picks right back up after Labor Day. And it's funny because so many people that live here from up north have the mentality of, well, I shouldn't list my house during the holidays. And that's not the case. I've actually had some of my consistent busiest sales written months in November and December because families are here visiting. They have time off. They can come here to buy. Like, there's lots of a lot of jobs start January 1st. So people want to come that are relocating in and get settled, get their house before they start work. So there's a lot of different dynamics here.
And I think it's a great time as a seller to take advantage of, if you've got a slower season, you've got a little bit more time at home to get your house ready.
And less competition.
So I guess our point is don't let this time of year scare you into not wanting to sell your home, because there's a great opportunity to get your home on the market and get it sold.
And if you think about it, if you wait to the busy time, like April, May, you are up against all the more competition, all the more listings. So it's really not a benefit to wait for that time because this is allowing you some extra exposure and less,
So let's talk about why someone would not want to list their house right now. We're in the middle of November. What would be some reasons, do you think, where someone would say, oh no, I don't want to sell my house right now because it's the middle of November?
Well, one is mindset. They think that it's a bad time to list because of the holidays and that they're not going to get traction or interest and that it's a waste. Another would be, well, I don't want to be inconvenienced if I'm living in the house with a family, especially, multiple kids, things of that nature for showings, during the holiday season. A big one, which we're going to tie into is the decor. We don't want to outdate the decor or the pictures or the advertising of the house online. So that is an important thing to discuss, which we're getting into. But yeah, I think I really feel like from what my experience, a majority has been mindset of time frame that it's not a good time frame.
Yeah.
Which
and
that's
is
simply not the case.
Statistically just not true.
Right.
Like, as
in
far
this
as data
area,
goes.
at least.
Right.
Yeah.
So as far as the decorating goes, coming from a media professional, obviously we're not going to want to see a ton of holiday decor, because after Christmas, that's going to show, oh, this house has been on the market a while.
Right.
So, but there are ways that we can get around that.
Correct.
Number one, when I come in to take pictures, it won't take you very long to kind of tuck some of that stuff away. You know, we can hide a lot. We can pack up a few things. The Christmas tree, I understand, can't come down, but sometimes it can be photoshopped.
Right.
Or
and it, depending on where you start in the process, if you haven't gone all,
right,
Christmas
or
bells,
I can get in there too before you even put your tree up.
That's
Let's
exactly
say that you might not be ready to get it listed and go live, but we can go ahead and get in there and get the pictures done, so that all the pictures are going to reflect your house before Christmas. And also, it's honestly not very hard for me to get back in there and snap, I call it a mini shoot, right, where we can get in there and we can do some updated pictures of your living room without the Christmas tree in it. So don't let that discourage you from listing your home, because there are ways around that.
Yeah. And another big one, ding, 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 the yard. So, and to tie in, and she'll explain a little further, but a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I have these, you've spent so much on landscaping and have all the pride of this.
The worst time of year. My yard looks horrible. The grass is brown. Sure.
She can work on a lot of that.
Well, also just, I'm sure you have pictures of your yard.
Bloomed azaleas and things of that
nature. Susie can 100% incorporate into the listing, which,
Correct.
Will show it at its glory.
Right.
And then as far as I go, I do have some little tips and tricks up my sleeve to help make your yard look a little nicer.
Greener,
right. We can green up
bluer.
the grass. Right. We can clean up, debris, things like that. So in your mind, how it can look at its finest. And even though when I come in, I might not be able to show it, but hopefully there are ways that we can incorporate pictures that you have.
Right.
And then, to show the buyer what it will look like at its full potential.
Yeah, and when everything's in full bloom in the spring and things of that nature, we can tie all of that in together with the pictures that she does on top of her, landscaping the grass and things of that nature to make it look not dry and
I mean, I think right now, leading up, I know some people have their trees up, but a lot of people wait till after Thanksgiving. And I think that the next couple of weeks is such a great time.
Absolutely.
To, get your house ready and get the pictures done, get it on the market. So while people are here visiting, seeing family, think of all the grandparents that are going to be coming in.
I can't tell you the amount of grandparents that buy.
Coming in to see their families, and they think, oh my gosh, I want to be closer to little Timmy. Let's start looking at Zillow and call up an agent. And if your house is ready to go, then that's
even open houses we have had during holiday weeks, because we are right now Charleston has on average 74 new people moving here a day. And it is a combination between, retirement, following the kids, military, tourism, weather. I mean, there's so many things that make us great, right? That people want to be here. And, their best friends, their family members, all of that are visiting when they're off. When are they off? Thanksgiving week, Christmas week, New Year's Day has statistically been one of the busiest showing days every year for me. So I can't have too much wine on New Year's Eve, because New Year's Day I'm almost always showing. No, but it's like everyone, their mindset, it's like, I got through the holidays. Today's a new day. And
let's go. Let's do it.
And
well, in that week, people are off. They're bored by that time.
Exactly.
They're ready to get out of the house.
Teachers are off till the 4th or 5th or whatever it may be. So it really is, like I said, a lot of people have the mentality, it's holidays, it's slow, I'm not going to sell, I'm going to sit on the market. That's not the case.
No, and we have the advantage of being in an area where the weather is typically pretty lovely. I think one of my traditions is to go to the beach on Christmas Day. And 9 times out of 10, the weather is just perfect.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not
you're not
like,
going to get in the water, but
right,
you can walk the beach and enjoy the sun.
But it's not like Ohio where people
Right.
have to put on the winter coat and the boots
and it's gray and dark
snow
and salty
nobody wants to go anywhere.
Right.
Yes, people do. They're ready to get out of the house. You know, they're, you know, stir crazy. They're ready to get away from everybody. And that's a great time, I think.
And they're focused, ready, and they're like, new year, new goal.
Right.
Too.
Right.
For that.
Well, and here's another thing, and I don't know if this is quite the case, but we can also get your house ready to go now, and you can make it live that day after Christmas. You can get through the holidays without having showings, but you can be ready to go.
Right.
You know, out the gate the day after Christmas or a couple of days after Christmas.
And I've had that the case too, because I always tell people I can work as slow or as fast as you need. So if somebody, you know, calls me and they're like, okay, I'm not quite ready to go with showings yet, but I need to know X, Y, and Z I need to do before.
Yeah.
We'll get that knocked out. I tell them I can get pictures. I'll get pictures the next day.
Sure.
But we can hold those if you're not ready to go live.
Right.
And like you said, have everything ready. So that way we just hit the active button, you know, December 26th or whatever it is that makes you happy, and be ready to roll.
Right. And you know, a lot of people travel the week after Christmas, which is a great time to show your house, is when you're not there.
You're not there. Absolutely.
And, you know, so if
you have Fido out of the house and the kids out of the house.
The perfect time to start showings, to do the open house. And, you know, it's one of those things, if you start thinking about it now, you can achieve that.
Right.
But, it, you know, if you start waiting until mid-December, closer to Christmas, that's going to be
harder to hit the time frames. Yeah. And then plus everything's already decorated and all those things.
Right. Yeah.
But
no, I think that people do miss out on a great opportunity this time of year. As far as real estate goes, we all know it stays pretty consistent throughout the year. It does slow down a little bit, but like you said, I think that, you know, it's a missed opportunity if you're just thinking like, oh, I can't list right now because it's Christmas time. You know, you're missing a big window. You
are. Right. Absolutely. And to stand out without a bunch of competition around you is huge.
Right. Yeah.
You know, the lesser the inventory, the better it is for the sellers. So
of course. Yeah. No, I think that, and also comparatively, our weather is going to be so much better now than it is in, say, February. If you think like, oh, I'm going to wait until after the holidays, it just keeps, it's going to get worse before it gets better. So, you know, that's something else to consider. And I do think that February is kind of a slow, yucky month. Am I right?
It's definitely, I would say that here in Charleston, I feel like January, February are the most winter that we experience.
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say it does, like I said, I feel like New Year's Day and like that first kind of few weeks, you know, it's really crazy. And then you have a lot of closings in February. Okay. And then it slows a little and then it gets, you know.
Back in the spring.
Correct. Yeah. So I would say that, that would be pretty correct that, you know, with February, with it being so cold, it's always a shorter month. On top of, you know, it kind of being our hardest winter month, I think.
Yeah,
January, February.
And I think from a seller's perspective, you know, the buyers are waiting to get through the holidays and get through New Year. And you know how New Year's is. It's, you want that fresh start. You're all motivated. Like, you know, let's do this thing. And I think, you know, it's a great opportunity for a seller just to be ready, you know, for those first of the year buyers.
And if we could do it now before the Thanksgiving break and before the Christmas break, when everyone's traveling here and best friends are here visiting and all the other things. Yeah. So,
but if you do have your tree up, if you're one of those who seek joy from having your tree up for months, then don't let that discourage you either, because there's definitely things we can do without you having to take your tree down completely to where we can still
work around it.
Really great media. And show your home.
And if we, you know, if it is at the point that we have to have some that are holiday decorated photos, like she said, you know, if it's the case where it's not sold yet after the holidays, we can do the mini photo shoot of fixing those few rooms or the outside or whatever it is that had that decor in it. so we can update the listing so it doesn't look like it's been sitting there through the
Right.
holidays and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's also kind of nice too, you know, to have some fresh pictures
Yes.
thrown up on
Because you do
Zillow
not want to have your house listed in November that hasn't sold yet in February with a Christmas tree and all that stuff in there, because then people look at it going,
Right. And
Yeah.
same goes with your Halloween pumpkins.
Like,
Yes. Yeah.
Those are easy enough to pick up.
Yeah,
with,
they
the way.
are. That's an easy Photoshop. That's,
Like, we
Now
don't even need to Photoshop
the 12-foot skeletons, that's a little tricky to shoot around.
And I wonder, where do they store them?
That's a
Like
great question.
the big
Can you
Jack-
comment, somebody
Yes,
that has
please.
the 12-foot skeleton, and tell us
Where
the kind of
do
real
you
estate
store
it takes up? Yeah, to store
I'm
it.
Because they're cool.
Yeah. No, I
But-
see some of these, you know, Christmas as well.
Yeah.
And you think, gosh,
All
where
of
do
this-
they put all
Yes.
this stuff? Yeah.
It won't fit in an attic, and it's huge, and I mean,
Right.
it looks cool, but
Yeah.
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Do you decorate for Christmas, like on the outside?
I do, but not giant
Yeah.
things like that. You know,
The inflatables are nice.
yes, because they are
tuck
easy
away
to store,
easily.
and
Yeah.
yes, correct.
Well, unfortunately, I like to collect blow molds, and those do take up a lot of space, but they can go in the attic.
what is
You know, the vintage blow molds, like of Santa, or, you know, that's what they're called.
Yes.
Yeah, like the hard plastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love decorating for Christmas, and I respect so much when I roll up on a house
Mhm.
to shoot it, even though ideally we would like it to be,
Right.
you know, not decorated. But I also know the love and
Mhm.
intention that goes into decorating. And so, but again, I can come back so
Right.
easy, take some fresh outside pictures once
And
the decorations
especially
come
if you're
down.
an amazing one of those like Hobby Lobby Pure One, like Christmas beauty cottage decorators.
Right.
You know, you can make it look great for the pictures.
You can.
As much as we don't want it dated with a holiday, as we said, it can look fantastic and have that warming feel for the folks that are in out of town for the holidays.
Right, I think there
to walk
is a
in and have
benefit.
that feeling too.
Yes.
And then we can refresh them. It's just very important that the agent refreshes them
it is
with
yes.
updated pictures
Right.
after the holidays if it's not yet
Right.
sold.
And that's right. Exactly. Once we get through the holidays, it is
Right.
important so that it doesn't show how long the house
Right.
has been sitting on
Correct.
the market. Yeah.
And it just refreshes
Yeah.
to show.
And again, you know,
Mhm.
you were talking about there are some benefits to having your tree up. So,
Mhm.
you know, if you have tall ceilings, people can come in and
right.
see,
And visualize
oh
their
my gosh,
Christmas
I
with
could
their
put
family.
a 12-foot Christmas
Mhm.
tree in this room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I really had never looked at it from that point of
Yeah.
view. But I have seen some gorgeously decorated homes for Christmas.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a lot of fun to shoot. I think just as long as everyone knows they need to be updated after the
Yeah.
holidays.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I have had some folks, same with the yard and the blooming flowers, you know, that is a love of the piece of the house to them.
Sure.
And they want that feature shown, but it might
Mhm.
not be that time of year.
Right.
So if it is this grandiose Christmas tree that you put up here, or if it is the magnolia bushes in the front, you know, if you have those pictures too, we can incorporate that into
Of course.
the listing.
Well, you have a piece of real estate that has a iris kind of farm
Yes.
on it, right?
Mhm.
And you use those pictures
when
in
they were
your real
bloomed.
estate
Mhm.
listing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something too, you know, I'm sure that avid landscapers
Yes.
have
Appreciate and love.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And obviously, if that's your baby, you appreciate and love that as well, and want to
Sure.
showcase that, even though it's not that part of time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think the point of this podcast was to tell you that there is no bad time to list your house in this area. And don't let the holiday season deter
Right.
you if that's where you're at, you know, with your goals and your,
Correct.
you know, you don't have to wait until after the holidays.
And if you are considering, it's definitely better if we work with you before the decorating, but we have ways of working with you
Yes.
during the decorating as well. So
Sure.
don't feel discouraged that you're going to have a picture with all the Christmas decorating, you know,
Mhm.
months down the road.
right.
Things of that nature. Obviously, the goal is to sell it as quickly as we
Yeah.
can, and not have that. But you know, we are stay on top of and make sure that we are refreshing those things
Of
as well.
course.
So,
And I think it's a great time for buyers too.
yeah,
Yeah. they're, you know, it's
they have time off, they're traveling in, all the things.
Right. Yeah. And it's Charleston.
And so many jobs starting in January. I've found that that's a very big thing too. Yes.
Yeah.
And so they'll find out, you know, October, November timeframe, because we have so many big companies, you know, Volvo and Boeing. And
you know, as a seller, that's something that I hadn't even thought about.
Yeah,
that's another reason to get your house on the market.
Because they want to get settled, and they rather not go from wherever they live now to a rental to then buy, you know, and have to move twice and all of that, or they might have pets, you know, it's just hard to get resettled 2 times.
Right.
So they will start looking, you know, October, November, December, wanting to kind of close that January timeframe too for, you know, the new job.
Yeah. Well, it's a great time to sell your house anytime in Charleston. So hopefully you don't let the winter months and the holidays kind of deter you from that. Hopefully we've given you some insight and tips and tricks. And, you know, even if you don't use Susie as your agent, which you should, you know, these are things that you can pass on to your agent if they haven't considered it. You know, you can say, hey, my house is, you know, didn't sell over December, so let's get some updated pictures, or maybe let's see if the photographer.
Well, and same with photography. Talking to, you know, if you don't use Tiffany, which you should, you know, brightening the grass, making sure that's green. You know, the sky, like,
well, and that's
trying to omit, you know, the treadmill that's in the corner, or the Christmas tree,
of course,
things like that.
And that's just one of the reasons why your agent should hire a professional photographer, whether it's me or not.
Right.
Because there are so many little things that we have the capability of doing that your agent can't do with their cell phone pictures.
Oh, absolutely. Oh God, I wouldn't even try.
Right. So, you know, but hopefully you've got some kind of good, valuable information from us today.
And we're always open to answer any questions and suggestions for other topics and things like that too. So
yeah, great. We definitely need the ideas. So comment, do whatever you need to do. If you know us, text us, whatever, so that we can offer more information to anybody who takes the time to listen.
Well, thank you again
for
watching, and we will see you soon.
Yep. Bye-bye.